you can kind of deconstruct the menu that you're looking at and make it something that works for you.
Yes.
If you're willing and able to look at the menu for the pieces of it to find the things that work for you.
Absolutely.
Welcome to Salad with a Side of Fries. I'm your host, Jen Trepic, talking wellness and weight loss for real life. We're here to clear up the myths, misinformation, bad science, and marketing to teach you how to eat and how to cheat. Are you ready? I'm having salad with a side of fries. Hey guys, welcome back to Salad with a Side of Fries. Stevie is here with us again.
Hi guys.
So I want to start by saying I love all of your feedback. Keep it coming. And today's episode is actually in response to the questions that you guys have been asking. So I think everybody knows at this point that I virtually eat out every meal. Even if it's ordered in delivery, like I don't have groceries. I haven't had groceries in my house.
She's not kidding, guys.
In a really long time. And even my condiments are from takeout, like in takeout containers. It's kind of embarrassing. I will say though, this year I will get groceries, and when I get them, I will eat them.
Okay.
That's one of the things that I am going to do.
Okay,
Yeah.
I like it.
Anyway, so one of the questions that you guys have said is like, what do you eat when you go out? And where do you get food from? And what are your go-tos? So today is going to be all about eating out, dining out. So before we dive in, thanks to Lumiere de Vie Skincare for supporting Salad with a Side of Fries. Founded by Amber Ridinger McLaughlin in response to her own experience of mere marginal results from countless costly creams. She realized the revitalization of her youthful skin could only occur if she developed products herself. Working closely with beauty scientists and exploring the most advanced ingredients derived from the earth and sea, Amber created Lumiere de Vie, the next generation of skincare. The extensive line of luxury skincare products is designed to address all skin types and concerns, including uneven texture or tone, dryness, and fatigued skin. With the highest quality natural ingredients and powerful formulas that help heal, soothe, moisturize, and protect, Lumiere de Vie acts as first aid for your skin. The result? Rejuvenated, luminous, beautiful skin. To try it for yourself, text the word SKIN to 844-947-4846, and you'll receive the link and coupon code for 10% off. I highly recommend the new retinol creams. Super gentle for my sensitive skin. And by the way, you guys, if you know me, like I'm pasty pale and I burn in the sun, like I'm super sensitive. So this retinol cream I love. It's super gentle. All the benefits of retinol that you hear about, but safe for everybody. Again, simply text the word SKIN to 844-947-4846 to try Lumiere de Vie Skincare and get 10% off. This is a toll-free number. Standard text and data rates may apply.
Cool.
All right. So dining out. Stevie, what's your go-to? Like, what's your favorite kind of food?
My favorite kind of food is sushi. That's probably my top. And then from there, probably Chinese and Indian, actually.
Nice.
Yeah. Very into the non-American foods.
Right. Well, you know what, though? Also, I think when you're going to go out to eat the things that you wouldn't necessarily make or that are different.
Exactly.
It makes a lot of sense.
It's like the things I don't even have the spices for in my own kitchen. So
yeah.
Go get it elsewhere.
Yeah. And we were talking about this before, like, eating out. Sometimes I'm sort of like skipping around here, but I really want to say this. For me, like the number one thing that I think about when eating out is this an at-home meal replacement?
Okay.
Or is this something different?
Or is this like a birthday meal or something that's
like
something that's more of a treat and maybe a splurge?
Yeah.
Because those are obviously going to be way fewer than the everyday meal.
Yeah. And so, again, because the staple of my nutrition is somebody else's cooking, right? It requires that I have sort of that mental place of an at-home meal replacement, and those choices are much more plain, more like something that I would make for myself if I had groceries.
Yes.
Versus the Indian, the
nights that you're treating yourself.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
The more indulgent meals.
Yes.
And I think maybe that's like the key it was certainly a key for me. I think a lot of people like opt out of things in life.
Yes.
In order to stay, quote unquote, on track.
Right. And I think that that's easy to do. And for a really long time, it was very hard for me to figure out how to go out and be social and still stay on my healthy eating plan. And I think what you're saying is exactly it, was figuring out that I can go out and be social with my friends and still eat the things that fit right within the lifestyle that I've created for myself.
Yeah.
And yes, of course, on my birthday, I want to maybe eat something more indulgent. If I'm celebrating something, that might be a meal that I choose to be a treat. But most of the time, there's a certain way that I eat at home, and really, you can eat that same way in a restaurant.
Exactly. And I think a big piece of that is recognizing that it doesn't really matter what restaurant or type of food your friends choose to go to. True. You can find something.
Yes.
And owning that.
That's absolutely true.
And approaching it that way. Like, even sometimes I've been out with people who are super hyper focused on their nutrition plan, and I'm super supportive of that.
Right.
At the same time, they're like, oh, well, I don't know if I can eat there. Like, first of all,
you can.
You can. And second of all, you can.
Yes.
And third of all, look at the menu. You can.
Yes.
You know, like, you can absolutely eat anywhere.
And it's sort of like, if you are somebody who's big on cooking, if you go to the grocery store, there's a lot of things you're not going to buy.
Right.
But there's bread there, there's dessert there, there's every type of refined carbohydrate you can think of at the grocery store. And you go to the grocery store and you don't buy those things. It's very similar. You can go to a restaurant, they will have those things offered. You don't have to eat them or buy them. You can pick the things that work for you.
Exactly. And choosing to pick the things that work for you is about saying, I'm not going to opt out of life. I'm going to continue to see my friends and be social and do the things and continue moving forward on my plan.
Yes.
Or maybe you're saying, this is one meal in isolation where I am maybe going to indulge in a couple of things, and we'll talk about that too. And then you're right back on. And as long as similar to what we talked about around Thanksgiving, like, as long as it doesn't snowball.
Yes. And one meal becomes 1 week, then that's a different story.
Yeah. So in this idea of you can eat anywhere, you guys all know, God forbid, I go an episode without saying protein and fiber at every meal makes removing fat no big deal. So when I sit down at a restaurant, I'm looking to create a meal of protein and fiber. Yep. Protein is clean, lean protein. Vegetables are my fiber, sometimes some fruit. So that's what I'm looking for.
Yes.
I want protein and vegetables. You know, I was actually not too long ago on vacation, and again, eating anywhere, you can find protein and vegetables.
Yes.
When it comes to the preparations on the menu, or even choosing, so first, preparations, right? I tend to stick with grilled, broiled, steamed, roasted, right? Even braised, you know, or pan-seared are better than fried.
Yes.
I don't think it takes common sense. You know, that's, you've got this.
Yes.
You know that already.
You do.
And the high-fat, high-GI carbohydrates that create the bloating come from the fried other preparations, right? A lot of times I hear people talk about going for the fish or the chicken because it's quote unquote lower in calories.
Yes.
And yes, there are pros to leaner protein choices.
Sure.
But think about also where your priorities are. Like, if you're really focused on minimizing some of these additives that often go into things, or the unknown quantity in restaurants, these leaner proteins get much more added to them to be flavorful in a restaurant. So like a chicken is going to be marinated to be tasty.
Of course.
But like a filet generally only gets like salt and pepper.
Yeah. And maybe butter. And that's something that you can also ask them
say,
not to put on.
Exactly. So again, you know what's on your plan.
Yes.
If animal protein in general is not on your plan, cool. If you're a pescatarian and you're like, I only eat fish anyway, cool. If you're looking to minimize the additives and the unknown quantities and you're willing to eat some red meat, that might be a really great choice when you go out.
I agree with that. But yes.
Yeah.
But obviously that has to work for you.
Yeah. And I also, when it's not my at-home meal replacement,
Yes.
I will think about too, what are the things that I wouldn't necessarily have all the time? Red meat is one of those on occasion things.
Yes.
And so maybe that's what it is.
And something that you might, if you're not going to eat it at home, that
Yeah.
you can use the opportunity of being out with friends to enjoy a nice steak.
Yeah. I tend to do that also with fish, just because I think fish is smelly and we live in New York City and even good fish can create a smell.
Of course.
Or the paper that
Of
it was
course.
wrapped in and
Yes.
then it's in your garbage and then whatever. I digress. But if you guys could see my face, like I have such issues with like lingering smells.
Okay, so then that's something else that you might
So,
enjoy
right.
out more
Exactly.
than you enjoy in your own apartment.
Exactly. So, I totally get that people might prefer to eat home and make their own food, right? Like, it's definitely less expensive. You know exactly what's in it. On the other hand, I want to make sure everybody has a really healthful mental space around their plan and that, like I said before, like no one's opting out of life.
In order to be
In order
healthy.
to- yeah.
Like you're able to still do the things you do and go about a normal lifestyle, which likely includes a little bit of eating out, and still stay on your plan.
Yeah, because the truth is, it's actually critical to learn how to do everything while continuing to move forward toward your health goals. A meal out with friends, a few days without groceries at home, or if you're like me, never going to the grocery store, it doesn't matter. It can all be on plan.
Yes, absolutely.
And we'll all be better off if those things don't derail us.
And when they start to become the first few try it, it might feel like extra effort to look at the menu beforehand to figure out what modifications you might need to do. But it eventually became second nature.
Yep.
And
How long did that take?
It took a while.
Yeah.
It took a while. And it honestly, and it wasn't without a few pitfalls, but ultimately I got there, and it's to the point where now not only do I not worry about eating out, but I can enjoy it so much more because it's not something that's stressful.
Right.
I know that I'll be able to find something that works for me that day, depending on what my goals are.
Yeah. And to help with that, I have my go-to like quick guide for dining out that goes through Italian, Indian, Japanese, Mexican, French food, Greek, Chinese, and Thai. It actually even has fast food on it. I rarely ever eat fast food.
Me neither.
But there is the occasional potential road trip where you're
That's
out
your
of
only
stuff.
option.
And so
Yeah.
what are we going to do? So our members this week are getting my dining out quick guide, which, like I said, gives you what to look for, what to stay away from at all of these different types of restaurants, right? Or types of cuisine.
Okay.
If you can call fast food a cuisine. But,
I don't think you
Right.
can, but
Right.
we'll let it pass.
Right. So that's for all of our members. Guys, everyone's heard about the membership program, right? So here's how it works. You still get your podcast totally free. The membership program allows you to double down on what you're getting and loving from us at Salad with a Side of Fries. For $10 a month, you will get a weekly email that contains a recipe. Monthly, there will be an article and extra tools like this one, right? To uptick, right? Level up
Yes.
your commitment to yourself and your health. You'll also receive extra discounts from me and our partners, plus access to live sessions with me to answer your burning questions, share with your victories, and all the good things. So join the fun. Go to glow.fm/salad with a side of fries. In 3 clicks, you'll be ready to go. And as a reminder, this week, you're getting my quick reference guide for dining out at Italian, French, Greek, Japanese, Mexican, Asian restaurants, and fast food. So you'll love it because you can save it on your phone. By the way, I highly recommend join the membership program, get this download, save it on your phone so that you
have a quick
always
guide.
have it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then no matter where you are, even if it's last minute, you have the tools with you in your pocket, because who goes anywhere without their phone?
Exactly. And I am somebody who eats out a lot as well. And there really are way more options than you think there are on every single menu.
Yeah. So glow.fm/salad with a side of fries.
Cool.
All right, back to my tips. So number 2, right? So number 1 was at-home meal replacement versus special occasion experience.
Yes.
Right? Number 2 is apps and sides.
Okay.
If most people, like my friends, when we go out, I make a meal of apps and sides, especially at a steakhouse.
Yes.
But most places I can get protein from an app.
Yep.
A couple veggie sides.
Yep.
And I'm totally happy. I also love sharing food at restaurants, because for me, it does a couple things. Like, obviously the portion size, like I take less when we're all splitting something. So I have a couple bites of a bunch of different things. I feel like I'm eating more because I've tasted
more things,
more than one thing.
Yes.
And that helps me feel satisfied.
Yes.
And I generally liked it. Like, funny enough, even when I order in food, I generally order for more than one person because I want a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Yep.
And
I do the
like,
same thing.
like it was a progression for you in eating out. Even for me in ordering in, it was a progression to eat part of something and part of something else and put it back in the fridge and be able to eat for multiple meals from one order.
Yep.
Although that one order was not just for one person, but it's appropriate that it lasted me a couple meals.
Yes.
But
you make it work, and then you still feel satisfied at the end.
Yeah. So sharing food, hot tip. We talked about this at Thanksgiving too. Don't show up super hungry. Maybe it's some raw veggies, like a little crudité action before you go, handful of almonds. It can save you from the bread basket. And remember, going back, understanding low glycemic impact eating. When we sit down at the restaurant, if the first thing we grab is that bread basket, it spikes our blood sugar
through the roof.
And even if what we ordered was a steamed platter of nothing with nothing, your nothing with nothing is being stored as fat. Right? So we don't want to start with the bread basket. So order soup, order salad, start with something, and then maybe eat a little piece of bread, or wait till you've had your meal and then have a little piece of bread with it.
Yes.
And usually by that time, either you're eating less bread or it's cold and you're like, not as interesting.
It's lost its appeal.
Yeah. Going back to my list of tips. Let's see. So we talked about the bread basket, which I think is kind of a game changer for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because
you can,
to
especially
not start
if you
with that.
Show up starving and start with the bread basket, that's like a 400 calorie difference.
Or maybe even like check with the other people that you're with. Maybe you don't even like, you tell the server like, we're good without the bread.
And if everybody does want bread, maybe bring the bread just a little bit later when the appetizers have hit the table.
Or put it further away from you on the table. Like, sometimes proximity is everything.
Yep.
And we've also had conversations about water versus club soda, and the carbonation is not hydrating and it can leach the calcium from your bones and all that stuff. But sometimes having a club soda when I sit down, like the fizzy, it keeps me from the bread basket.
Yes.
It's enough. Like a club soda with lime sometimes is enough where I don't need the bread.
Yes.
Don't wear elastic pants. I love my athleisure.
Me too.
I mean, I have a minor problem / major problem with leggings and athleisure wear. But to the extent that we can avoid elastic waistbands at meals, it's probably a good idea.
Just so you don't forget when you're full.
Yeah. I mentioned this already, but starting with soup or salad or something with nutrition and vegetables, but focus on something like we talked about dairy with detox, right? So we also don't need dairy in our soup. So focus on clear broth, like consommes, a vegetable soup, to start off your meal and set you
on a good
trajectory.
Yeah. That's the word I was looking for.
Right. I know a bunch of people like to look at the menu before you go. Like you mentioned that too.
Yeah, I do that.
It kind of helps because then you know what you're getting and you're not necessarily tempted by whatever mood you're in that moment
or
what other
overwhelmed
people,
by the options.
Yeah.
You haven't grasped on what kind of your options are.
Yeah. Or like other people ordering, you're like, nope, like I'm just going to put the blinders on. I know what I'm getting.
Yes.
Ask for what you want. A lot of people are like, well, it doesn't come that way on the menu, or that's not what it says on the menu. Just ask for it. You know, like if you don't like the side that's paired with the protein that you want, but it's, you know, you like the sound of a side that comes with a different entree, like just ask for the other side.
Yeah, agreed.
9 times out of 10, they're going to accommodate you.
True.
You know, like.
And honestly, you're out paying for a meal. Why shouldn't you get exactly what you want?
Yeah. You can also ask for, you know, if something's on the menu, right? Maybe it's string beans, but they're prepared in a way that you don't want them. Like they have string beans. Ask them to prepare them the way you want them.
Yes.
You know, you can kind of deconstruct the menu that you're looking at and make it something that works for you.
Yes.
If you're willing and able to look at the menu for the pieces of it to find the things that work for you.
Absolutely.
I also think if they're not willing to accommodate you, like why are you giving them your money?
Agreed. 1,000%.
We actually, last summer, we were on vacation as a family at this restaurant that actually was one of our favorites. And they said they could not make something to accommodate, you know, my sister. And it was unbelievable. They were like, everything is already prepared. And then I was like, well, if everything's already prepared, this just feels not fresh.
Yeah.
Like, literally, nothing can be adjusted. You know, at one point we were like, anything on the menu. Like, we'll stop asking for specific things. Like, tell me anything on the menu that you can prepare in XYZ way.
Yes.
And they were like, we don't have. I mean, finally, we almost left. But finally, they were able to, like, figure it out. But
because
it's kind of mind-boggling.
Yeah, they have a whole kitchen back there.
Yeah. And again, like if something is that pre-assembled, like how fresh is your food? Meh, you know, I don't know. I also have a philosophy called like salad savvy.
Okay.
So a lot of times everybody's like, oh, I just had a salad. Like beware the salad.
Yes.
Right? Absolutely. Pile on the greens, the veggies, beans, go crazy. I would avoid cheese, bacon, croutons, high-fat dressing. Having said that, every once in a while, a little cheese goes a long way in my salad.
Yes.
But again, there's a difference between you preparing it and a restaurant preparing it.
Yes.
And maybe ask for it on the side.
So that you can control how much is in there.
Exactly.
And if you decide you want the cheese, maybe do the cheese with like a vinaigrette or a vinegar-based dressing versus the cheese and the creamy dressing and the croutons. It adds up quickly.
Exactly. So healthier dressings are your oil and vinegar, squeezing lime or lemon or both. You know, ask for your dressing on the side. Do the whole like dip your fork thing.
Yep.
Or if you don't want to dip your fork and you like the dressing mixed in, at least still order it on the side. And that way you know how much is going on the salad.
Absolutely.
And again, it comes down to sort of where you are in your progression toward your goal and where your priorities are.
Right.
You know, I'll say for me, there are some days where the dressing mixed into the salad is infinitely more satisfying.
Yes.
And then there are other days where I got the dressing on the side and I never even used it because I was just enjoying the foods.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Warning words on a menu.
Okay.
Buttery. Mm-hmm. Duh. Right. Sauteed. Depending. You can ask what it's sauteed in.
Yes.
You know. Pan fried. Au gratin. Delicious. But a warning.
Yes.
Right. Parmesan cheeses, right? Creamy cheese sauce, scalloped, right? A la mode. It's delicious, right? A la mode is like
whatever you're
your
getting,
ice
a la
cream
mode is
made.
also probably
Right. We'll talk about dessert in a second. But yeah, like pick your battles.
Yes.
You decide.
So maybe get the pie, but not with the scoop
Right.
of ice
And
cream.
again, if this is my at-home meal replacement,
Yes.
I'm avoiding all of
that.
these
Right.
things.
Right.
Because if I were going to make something for myself, none
That's
of
not how
that
you
would be
do
in it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Dessert. You guys know 3-bite rule, right? We talked about this at Thanksgiving, but the 3-bite rule, share desserts, opt for the lighter, fruitier desserts.
Yes.
Like I said, share them, split them. And as we talked about at Thanksgiving also, eat it right after your meal instead of waiting a while.
Yep.
So that your body isn't processing that sugar bomb
All
separate.
by itself. Right.
Exactly. And when everybody else orders coffee, I sometimes order like warm water with lemon, right? We talked about this during detox.
Yes.
It's great for your gallbladder, which processes fat. It also soothes your GI system. And so, or GI tract, I suppose is the appropriate, whatever. So sometimes ending the meal with warm water and lemon. And it
Putting
also,
something good in at the very end to
it also like
cleanse
cleanses
your palate.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
so then by the time the dessert comes, I'm sort of like, I don't really need this.
Yeah. It makes it
know.
almost is like putting a period out in the meal.
Yeah.
Where like you're done and move on from the eating portion of your evening.
Exactly. So
Assuming that it's dinner.
right. Right. So I think that pretty much covers it as far as eating out. I guess we didn't really talk about drinking while eating out. You can go back to the truth about alcohol
Yes.
episode. Certainly, if you are going to drink at your meal, pay attention to your mixers, right? Stick with club soda or no mixers, right? We can avoid the added sugars. And again, beware of how the alcohol can influence our food choices. Like maybe
And
after that drink, the
decision-making,
bread
exactly.
basket starts to become your main food source.
Exactly.
So being aware and paying attention to that, maybe you're not having your drink until after the meal starts. And remember, going back to that episode, it's really about how our liver can process toxins.
Yes.
And so your liver is not going to process any of the food you eat until that alcohol is out of your system.
Right.
So we would want to make food choices that are not taxing our system,
If we're adding alcohol.
if we're
in
adding
there.
alcohol, stuff
Yeah,
like that. So
makes sense.
you can go back to that episode, but at least we've mentioned it here.
Just a reminder.
Yeah, just a little reminder.
Refresher.
And I think that probably does it, at least what we can digest in this moment. No pun intended. That was bad. That was a dad joke.
I like that.
All right, remember guys, double down on the benefit you're already getting from us. Become a member. Go to glow.fm/salad with a side of fries. In 3 clicks, you'll be ready to go and receive this week's quick reference guide for eating out at Italian, French, Greek, Japanese, Mexican, Asian restaurants, and fast food. Be sure to save it on your phone so that you have it with you all the time. Again, that's glow.fm/salad with a side of fries to become a member. As always, I'm your host, Jen Trepic. You can contact me through Instagram at Jen Trepic, JENNTREPECK. Our Facebook page for the pod is also on the same handle. Our group is under Salad with a Side of Fries podcast, like our website, saladwithasideoffriespodcast.com. Guys, no need to fear the restaurant or your social plans. You got this. Stevie, thanks.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. Well, friends, that's it for today's episode of Salad with a Side of Fries. Congratulations for making yourself and your health a priority. Thanks so much for joining us. Be sure to click subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast platform. Share us with a friend, and we'll be back next week. Always remember, you deserve it, and you are worth it. Happy healthy.